Hello, today I want to compare these two knives, the Spyderco Sage 5 versus the Spyderco Para 3. As you can see, they are almost identical in size and shape and whatnot, so they are both made by Spyderco, both very similar in size, shape and weight, and both use the Spyderco's own compression lock. So what are the differences? First of all, I want to show you where these knives come from. This is the latest addition to the Sage series. Here I have the Sage 1, very similar. I just made a video about these two knives. So the Sage series, the Spyderco pays tribute to different locking mechanisms. This time it's the compression lock. Para 3 officially has nothing to do with this knife, but realistically you can see it's a smaller version of the Paramilitary 2, just quite a bit smaller. But I think Spyderco said that now it's a completely different line, but realistically it's the shrunk down version, but not perfectly shrunk down. And this has some implications which I will mention later on. So yeah, both use S30V in their blades, but Para 3 comes in a lot of different variations, and you can choose between different blade steels and handle combinations, but Sage 5 is just this. Always S30V, nothing else, and this carbon fiber G10 laminate. So if you want a different steel, like I don't know, S110V or something like that, Para 3 is the way to go. And just one more thing, you just saw it when comparing the compression locks. Both use the Spyderco's updated version of compression locks in terms of the stop pin. As you can see here, the stop pin goes all the way through, but it's a floating stop pin. Similar in a Sage 5, but it just goes through the liner, not through the scale, but still a floating stop pin. Here on the Paramilitary 2 you can see it's a screwed in stop pin. Just saying. Okay. Lanyard tubes. You can see that the Sage 5 has a very small lanyard tube and the Para 3 has a very big one. There are two problems with that. First of all, I found it very hard to remove the lanyard tube. It was very stiff, and you can see these are custom scales, so I had to remove the scales and it was very difficult. Here on Sage 5 this assembly is very simple. But more importantly, when you turn it around, both knives, when you turn them around, Sage 5 is very simple. The lanyard tube is small and moved to the left. Typical Spyderco wire pocket clip, very deep, very simple, very functional. Here you can see this custom clip, which basically mandatory on this knife, because otherwise it rides too high. But even with that, it's not a perfect solution, because as you can see here, the pocket clip slightly overlaps the lanyard tube. So out of the box, this is a lot better solution than the Para 3. But now let's look at the blades. Okay, here in the Para 3 you can see it starts out with a very thick blade stock, and then it tapers down to a very fine and thin tip. On the Sage 5 it keeps a very consistent blade thickness almost all the way through, and when you turn it around you can see it's much broader blade and very broad tip. And on the Para 3 it has a very pointy, fine tip. Okay, so what's my overall conclusion for these knives? So I would say the Sage 5 is good to go out of the box. There's nothing wrong with it, no need to change anything, so it just makes perfect sense overall. By the way, both are very good knives. But here on the Para 3, it's not perfect out of the box, mainly due to this section here on the bottom, the clip and the lanyard hole. But there are many options to customize it, to make it your personal preferred knife. So overall I would say Sage 5 is the rational choice and the Para 3 more emotional one. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching.